It is October 24th. This is the fourth of four on Kelly Gallagher's Write Like This, or ES 319. Chapters 7, 8, and 9 today. They are the last in his little episode of examples of real-world writing, then a chapter on polishing and editing, and then a chapter on kind of tying it all together, kind of his rationale for it. So, starting with chapter 7, which is the final of his real-world situations for writing, taking a stand and proposing a solution. He talks mostly about how there's a lot more going on in this than actually just teaching writing. Taking a stand and proposing solutions are pretty low on the list of things we're good at culturally these days at all. We don't like to take stands on much of anything. So you kind of have to back up, he says, you kind of have to back up and start with teaching kids how to choose, how to make a choice, how to take a stand, pick a side, to the point of playing a would you rather type of a game. Would you rather pause the world or silence it? See what they say. You have to pick one of these. Why? What's going on up here that makes you say what you said there? So he has them start with thinking about those kinds of questions, of two-sided things like that, and then moves on to more real-world problems, I guess. But talking about arguments, he has this thing called the four-square argument chart in there, which I thought was very helpful. It would help in presenting arguments and in writing papers about them, as far as solutions and taking your stand. But basically there's four sides to each argument. Your side, the arguments against your side, their side, and the arguments against their side. So he's saying if you don't know all four of these sides, if you haven't considered all four of them, you don't actually know what's going on yet. Therefore, you're not in a good position to say anything about the argument really at all. So they work through this template before they start writing this kind of essay. Made a lot of sense to me. Sounds good. Then when you do start writing, he had a couple of paragraph templates in there, which I thought were great. Especially because this kind of writing is a little bit different than some other kinds. These were helpful. He had two in here, the hamburger and the setup and knockdown style. Hamburger, you present your argument, you present their argument, and then the rebuttal. So their argument is sandwiched in between your thoughts. The setup and knockdown version, you present theirs first, and then you spend the rest of the time knocking it down with your arguments and counter-arguments. So two different paragraph templates there he provided, both effective. He suggests maybe alternating hamburger, knock them down, for structuring of paragraphs as you go through your paper. But with taking a stand and proposing a solution, the point of this kind of writing, the actual real world idea, is that you would get someone to do something, and that's also real tough. So they practice this kind of thinking and writing to get it going on that end, with coming up with 5 things you can do to help save the environment, 5 things you can do to save energy, 5 things you can do to eat better. Come up with lists like that will give them an idea of the kind of audience they're shooting for and the way maybe they should go about it. The trick with writing that kind of paper, obviously, is to pick a decent problem. If you have a problem that A, doesn't need solving, or B, is so huge that there's no chance of getting anywhere close to it, it's going to be hard to write a paper on it. But if you go through and you pick something that's manageable in a certain sense, and close enough to you that you can write about it, with passion and with interest, that's a lot better way to go. He suggests newspapers, personal experience, and then he has a couple of places he sends the kids to look, especially for problems, Arlington Institute website and some others. That's pretty much chapter 7. Chapter 8 is about editing and revision. Basically, he says use track changes for editing and revision, which is a word function where what you changed shows up, so you can tell what you're doing. He has the kids physically go through pencil and paper and write out R for replace, for what they replaced, and A for add, and D for delete for what they took out, and R for reorder for where they switched sentences around. I think that would be helpful. It would be a little bit annoying, but especially on a draft, to have this is what I changed, so you can see, look, I'm making progress, it's changing, it's getting better. That would be encouraging and helpful. He talks a lot about, in chapter 8, he talks a lot about how again, the modeling thing is big here. If you don't model that you as the teacher have to edit and revise your own writing, then the kids there's not a chance they'll do it. Nobody really wants to do that. You want to send in your essay, your poem, or your piece and be done with it. But in reality, the vast majority of things that are written that way aren't that good. The people who end up writing books or papers or poems, they've revised it and reworked it and thought through it and edited it and changed things and rearranged so that it's a good piece. So modeling that that's important is a huge part of this. Then chapter 9, the sort of tie everything together chapter, the wizard. This is like the 10 core reasons he's a writing teacher. Why he thinks it's important, why he's doing it, why he's devoted his life to helping other people do it. I'm going to talk about a couple of them. Number 1 is, from the title of the chapter, The Wizard of Oz would be a lousy writing teacher. You can't, cannot, may not, should not, won't work teach writing from behind the curtain, like the Wizard of Oz. Won't work. Will not happen. So he talks a lot about coming out from behind that and writing with the kids. Another one is there's no such thing as a 5-paragraph essay. There isn't. You need structure, yes. There's a beginning, a middle, and an end. Go from there. Students need more time to write. That's one of his main reasons he's a writing teacher. It's because he finds it so important that they write every single day in his class. And number 8, just skipping through these again. Number 8, model what's right, not what's wrong. So, fairly self-explanatory there, but that's a solid teaching practice all around. Little quote at the end here: "It is our responsibility as teachers to help them learn the skills they need to confront serious problems and use these skills to generate innovative, thoughtful solutions." So, as we go into teaching, I think that's great advice. Part of what we're doing, most of what we're doing, should be to prepare these kids to go forward in life. Thanks for watching.